Normally on this show, we leave the explosions to Adam and Jamie. But as you're about to see, there's a lot of time and effort being spent to make sure you never get to meet one of these in the flesh. An innocent-looking bag left on a railway platform. Or is it?
Back in the good old days, a bag like that would just end up in lost property. But of course, in these times of terrorism, there could be a bomb in there, so you report all unaccompanied baggage. But what happens if the bomb goes off before the bomb squad arrives? What you really want is some way to isolate the bag, to cover it and protect people before the authorities get here. Well, guess what? You can.
This is the Fountain, and it's just what it looks like, a large box. But more than that, it's a blast inhibitor that works by reducing the shockwave of a bomb blast. And the Russians have put a lot of faith into it. They've installed these devices in train stations throughout Moscow.
If a suspicious-looking bag is found, the fountain is placed over it carefully, and if the bomb does go off, the explosion is dramatically reduced, protecting the people and the environment.
The Fountain is the product of years of research by Professor Mikhail Silnikov. He's a physics expert at the Ministry of Defence in St. Petersburg. His speciality is protective gear, clothing, helmets, you name it. But his pride and joy are these. Looking more like a row of baggage, they're in fact different-sized bomb protection boxes.
Our main purpose is to design a device which is able to protect people against a blast and make it reliable and effective.
Designing a small portable blast inhibitor is harder than it sounds. It needs to soak up the initial shockwave, then shrapnel and heat and flames, all the while not disintegrating itself. You're about to see the professor's own trials and their compelling evidence. This is a 5-kilo bomb test. Now keep your eye on the destruction of the wooden panels. Now, the same again, 5 kilos. The panels stay put, the shockwave has been quelled. For fiery bombs, it's the same story. A tremendous amount of flame and shock in the uncovered blast. In the covered explosion, relatively little. And to make the point even more, inside a bunker, which with a little imagination could be a house, destruction. Similar bunker with the blast covered, and the structure remains intact. Sure, it doesn't stop the blast, but it absorbs enough to possibly save your life.
The secret of the fountain's success lies in the walls here. Inside there is a mixture of liquid and gas that together acts like a highly compressible gel.
We asked for our own tests, and the Russian army were only too keen to take a stick of dynamite and a jerry can full of petrol and let her rip. Plenty of flames, a solid shockwave, you wouldn't want to be standing close. Now the bomb box version. Same amount of dynamite and petrol, and the fountain box is placed over the top. Our soldiers retreat 40 metres or so, and watch this. No flames and a minimal shockwave.
And shrapnel, one of the big killers for a bomb blast, is also held within the box because inside these walls is a special fragment-resistant screen. But does the system work? Well, Russian aircraft manufacturer Ilyushin was so convinced of the fountain's capabilities, they allowed it to be tested with a real explosion on board an aircraft like the one behind me, worth $60 million.
This is what 500 grams of TNT would do to a plane when set off in a toilet. It's not pretty. Same plane, same amount of TNT, but this time it's covered. Hardly a Hollywood-style explosion, was it? And that's the point.
Tests like these have shown that the fountain is incredibly good at damping down explosions. There was very little structural damage to the aeroplane. The life support systems were fully functional. In fact, they said the plane could still even fly after the explosion. Little wonder then that the fountain is now standard equipment on the 96-400 Aleutians.
500 грамм тротила вполне достаточно для того, чтобы уничтожить самолет.
500 grams of TNT equivalent is enough to destroy any airplane wherever the explosive is on board the ship. Our fountain blast inhibitor can protect the airplane and can suppress the damage from the TNT.
It's a shame we need devices like these in the modern world, but it is nice to know we have the technology to make our lives a little safer.